dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, this is going to be a little bit disjointed, unfortunately, because I've done a load of filming on trying to get fairings to fit and stuff like that. Now, the bike has been down the road, I know that, but as far as we know, the frame and everything is straight. No obvious damage to it other than a little scratch on the main spar. But this is state of play. We've got some more oil into the rear shock. Look at this shithole. The battery that we said was good turned out to be bad, even though it was brand new. They obviously still have a shelf life. So we've got a new battery. All of this will hopefully become apparent in the video, but like I say, it's probably going to be a little bit disjointed, but we are where we are. The mystery leak, that's an old towel. It wasn't the coolant pipe as I thought it was. That's actually sealed up really well, even though I ordered a new bolt, but now I've got one spare. It was actually a very slight oil leak from around the water pump area, and it was just coming through one of the bolts. So I've took the bolt out, cleaned it up, degreased it all, and thread sealed it, and there's no new leakage down there. That is old leakage. So I'm happy with that. I got the airbox off and I drained the Carby Tinkle float bowls because she was idling fine but wouldn't rev. But I turned out I got a little bit of water in the tank, which will be condensation because it sat for a while. So I've cleaned all that out. I've took the tank off, drained the water out, because obviously the water will be the first part to come out. So did that. There was only a little bit, probably a couple of egg cups full, but a couple of the float bowls had water evident. But they're now okay, and she revs up. I've got it on a remote reservoir. That is not the colour of the fuel. It's got a tiny little bit of red X in it. But other than that, so yeah, as you can see, we're the usual mess. We managed to take the main stand off because you can't run it with the 4-into-1 because the stand stay is obviously on that silencer, and we haven't no longer got it. But we're getting there. But hopefully the video will make some sort of sense. It is a bit sweary, unfortunately. It may be a little bit ranty, and it might be completely random, but it's the real me. There's no point putting a fake version of yourself on YouTube because you'll get found out eventually anyway. So yeah, it's just me. I am a sweary bear, and I won't apologise for it. You know, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I would just on this video advise caution if you've got young uns about. So we'll get on with some editing, and that's going to take most of the day. So today we're going to see if we can fix this panel and make it just usable even as a spare. Somebody's bonded washers along it, and if you can see, that makes the profile of it too thick. So we're going to cut those washers off with a penknife, hopefully, and if we need to, we'll just put an extra strengthening skin of glass fibre on it, and we'll see how we go. So there we go, we've took the washers off and we've removed all the old epoxy to give us a reasonably good working surface, and then I'm going to mix up some fiberglass resin and we'll put a strengthening strip on the back here. Don't want to do it on the front because obviously, just like a middle-aged man wearing Speedos, that's going to cause an unsightly bulge that nobody wants to see. So we'll catch up when we're doing the glass fibring. Hi guys, it's Tuesday morning and we're trying out the head mount, and I don't know how long it will stay on because I've got David Dickinson layers of hair at the minute. It's ridiculous. We're going to try a little test fit of the repaired panel, and as you can see I used the spare resin just to strengthen up the edges a little bit, because it is a very, very thin panel, replica panel, which are, I don't think they're even available anymore, and you'll be paying top dollar for an original, even on eBay. I mean, I've seen them go, some people are asking, you know, nearly 100 quid, and I actually managed to bag 2 original panels, which I've yet to look at. I managed to get them before Christmas for I think I got them for 30 quid plus postage, and I think they were from the same German breaker that I've had another part off. And I've also got one of these parts coming, one of these infill parts, because the cover on that's gone and there's a missing cover over the rad cap, and I don't want to be looking at it, so I managed to get one of these for 30 quid with both covers. What I'm going to do today though also is test fit the belly pan, and then we can offer the panel up. One of the best stickers ever produced, that Tomcat, loved it. I'm a big fan of Top Gun, so you'll have to forgive my anarachiness, but we'll offer this up, trim these, and then we know I put some glass fibre behind it just to strengthen these original holes a little bit. This epoxy stuff, this will just lift off now, I'm not that bothered, but these ones are the ones that actually needed repairing, because they were somebody had put washers behind it and it just didn't look right. It's okay if you're trying to use a nut and bolt, which we might have to resort to, but well, we'll get a bit closer than what we are today, and then if it doesn't work, we'll try one of those other panels, because the originals have like little locking tabs down here to locate into the belly pan, and they have locking tabs on this edge and that edge, so they can actually hang from the top fairing without a screw, so they all support each other. So we might still have to go down that route, entirely possible, but in the meantime I'm just going to get a pair of scissors or something and just trim these up a bit. They don't really need it, just to test off of the test the belly pan. Get off. And that's the great thing about glass fibre, is that you can cut it with scissors. And it's doing my top Valerie Singleton moment there. I mean, these don't have to be exact, this is all going to be hidden anyway. Like I said, I'm not super fussed about cosmetics anyway. You can get an emery board or something on those and take them up, but it's what we call a doofer. It's a doofer now. I mean, these second-hand fairing manufacturers, they're only really concentrated on bikes made in the last sort of 10 years, not realising that bodywork for bikes like this is now getting like hen's teeth in reasonable condition. They'll all need a repaint, etc, etc, and they really are shooting themselves in the foot by not producing them. So, right, what we got? Oh, the screws are already in it, look. Crikey, that's organised. You won't see that very often. So we're just going to lay the belly pan under, and those are the proper support cups. Just lay it underneath for now. Just get it in a very rough position. This side's okay, this side can be buttoned up. There's a hole here that needs drilling, which we can go off that, but there is a fastener there, and that one needs repairing. It's just state of play for a bike this old with a fairing, unfortunately. So we shall find the bolts, or find some bolts. Those two might do it actually. get the best set of Allen keys ever made, Wearer. These really are good. They fit in the hole lovely. That's it, so that's that one. I can hear my uncle next door bashing around in his shed. It's obviously shed torn. So we'll see how we go. I've got no idea how much you guys can see until I actually watch this back. Let's just check, see that's the correct bolt first. Should, but I think it's an M5, but there are some M6s. That's good enough for Jimbo. And it might be about right. I mean, this is just an initial fit. This is not the final one by any standard. Always struggled with belly panels. No, I didn't think we were anywhere near, because I can't see anyway. What I'm going to do is get the other side on, I think. Get that on first. Just it's great getting old. As Billy Connolly said, the test of age is how long does it take you to get out of a beanbag chair. I think I agree. Right, let's bring this up. I'm just looking over the other side just to make sure that goes in roughly where it should. And then we're going to come through, probably going to have to move this clamp by the looks of it. Yeah, we are. That's okay, it's better to find out now. Right, we need 12 mil. Oh, you bastard. Believe this, I've got no idea what size that nut is, because it's got to be an 11 mil, because I've tried a 12 and a 10, both wrong. No sockets fit. It could be an 11. Bloody typical. And that's what you get for putting American stuff on a Japanese bike. It's probably even bloody imperial. Anyway, run it over. We're just going to drill the initial pilot holes for these screws, the fairing screws, and there's a good chance, because this isn't a standard panel, that a few of them are going to be a right Uncle Bunt, but we'll see. Just move some stuff. Really do need to tidy up. That's where Mrs. Shed comes in, because she's epic at it. I tend to get all the kit out, use it, and then, you know, go in for tea and forget about it, and then it stays forgot about until the next time we get in the shed, which is piss poor practice. I don't know whether you can even see there, got the light in the way. It's a good thing about glass fibre, so easy to drill, but also so easy to do wrong. This is just the original, the initial pilot holes, just to see what's what, and then we'll put the bigger holes in when we're happy. I think I just drilled the bench there. I'm going to go with there for that. Looks like it. and we'll see. It ain't going to be that far off. I mean, they only need opening up really. Let's get some screws. I've got new fairing screws coming, so chances are I'm not going to be using these ones anyway. But we'll see. But we'll get the. I've actually took that exhaust clamp off because there are springs to be fitted to the exhaust to hold the silencer on. But also I used some assembly paste as well. So this is a funny thing. These are M5s, the little screws. That's an M6. No, it is an M5. That's fair enough. Right. Oh yeah, it does help if you take this one out as well, you spanner. Oh, it never goes well, does it really? But do we expect anything less? That's stuck in there because I thread locked the helicoil in. Right, let's get reorganised. Well, that means I'm filming. Right, but I thought we'll try this other panel because that other one just don't fit. And you can see what I mean about the locking tabs on the originals. You're supposed to get these in. There we go. Well, it's better, but this is the original top fairing and this isn't lining up. Well, it is. It will do. With probably a bit of cleaning up around here, look. Somebody's obviously had a go at it. Wasn't me. That's my uncle next door, fucking nutcase. People wonder why I'm mad he brought me up. So that should answer your questions. You'll hear all sorts of noises coming from his shed. You know, all good stuff. Be happy in your own madness, I say. Right, so this isn't lining up, and to be quite honest, having a really crap panel on the bike amuses me because it's going to infuriate a lot of people, and it doesn't me. And the fact that I'm not infuriated, it's not standard, it's not concourse, fuck off. As I comment on other people's posts, it's your bike, do what you bloody well want with it. You do not need anybody else's justification for doing what you want to your property. That's the way I look at it. Come on. Right, so that's in, that's sort of in, that lines up. Fucking hell. Dear Mr. Kawasaki, why just rather? It's like a bloody Chinese finger puzzle. This is. Didn't have this problem on the other side. Or maybe I'm missing something blatantly obvious that you guys can see and I can't, which is entirely possible. Right, we'll just start getting a screw in, and then we can wiggle waggle. Have the decency to catch a thread, you fucker. Oh, you fucking cunt. And words of that effect, but still valid. I do like a good swear. God knows why these are so out of light, because that is an original top, that's an original panel. I mean, I know this has been down the road, but it doesn't normally sort of bend bodywork. That needs to go up. I think we need to shave a little bit there, and then that will tilt the panel around. I think that's what we need to do. Don't know if we can do it just by giving it a little tickleette. My uncle is singing his arse off in that shed, which when you're trying to film can sometimes be really annoying, but most of the time is very amusing. I've never ever had much joy with fairing. I like a faired bike. I like all bikes, but I do like a faired bike. And if you ride all year round, like what I do, and like many of you do, and it's, you know, I ain't bothered if you don't. I totally understand somebody spending, you know, a lot of money. Because it doesn't matter whether it's a 1,500 quid bike or a £15,000 bike, if that is all you've got and you've had to save up, etc, etc, then, you know, it's worth the same amount of money in real terms. It's very easy for a millionaire to go and get a Ducati and not even blink at the price. Which, you know, must be a lovely position to be in, and I'm sure there's some of you that are in that position. Good luck to you. But you know, some people are knocking around on 500 quid bikes because that's all they can afford. But I shall tell you this, they'll be enjoying them just as much as you will, without a doubt. No, that is not an M6. Well, that panel does fit better. There's a little bit of, I'm going to have to shave that corner down for some reason. I mean, this may have just deformed a little bit. If we look at the indicator, that indicator could be better fixed. For a start, that is actually screwed in, and and it's got a wobble. So it did go down on this side, but this paintwork's probably hiding repair work, which is not uncommon. And you know, it's not the end of the world. But I would like it to wear its fairings. But obviously they thought about aerodynamics and stuff even back then, so all this is quite a snug fit by necessity anyway. I have noticed, I don't know whether you can see under there, I have got a very small leak, and I know why. It's the drain screw on the coolant pipe is a little 10mm thing, and I thought, oh, it's just 10mm screw. Didn't really pay much attention. It turns out that the proper one that I took out does have a little brass like copper washer, like a brake line, and obviously I've stuck a shouldered 10mm in, so just over the last couple of days it's just seeped past that a little bit. Hopefully I can get the proper one back in without losing too much coolant. I shall put a pan under it and catch it, but I will sort that before we get the belly pan on. But by the looks of it, I've got to take that repair section out of the belly pan, which is fine, so we'll do that next. You know when you buy the correct fasteners for something and then can't find them? That. The drain screw underneath, for the sake of something like £3, I've ordered a new one, but I'm just going to carry on and testicle fit this. Right, I don't think we've got any clips at that other side. We better rectify that because we've got some new ones. We're just giving the battery a little top up. It was I put the meter on it and it was at 12, but it don't hurt considering we're not. I mean, if the coolant bolt comes in a couple of days, we won't be firing this up till then anyway, so we may as well give it a little tickle on the old on the battery maintenance thingy do whip. Don't know whether it's because it's being used on an advert, but I've got a right earworm today. It is sort of standard practice that I get earworms, but you know. But I did watch Guardians of the Galaxy the other day, and it does have a damn good soundtrack. Fucking hell, they fit. I really shouldn't be surprised. But it's always nice when you order something and it turns out alright. Try and line that up a bit better using the factory tool.
Yeah, that's got a clip behind it, so that's alright. Wrong way, moron.
What size that is? God, fluke. So this is why I don't screw things into woodblock.
That's it. Oh, that's lucky. Look at that. Just about cock on. Or it would be if we could get it on. Nearly had another earworm. Oh, come on.
What the?
Oh, do you know, I think some things are deliberately awkward. Or some things just like to fight. It's one of the two. Sakes. Right. Oh, this is going to take some editing. This is. Do you know what? These are not a bad match for the factory originals. Not bad at all. And there's one behind there. That's a slightly longer one there. Would not surprise me at all. Right, let's see how we get on with this then. Let's offer that up. That's better. Way, way better. Can't see. Actually, I'm going to do the other side first because that has all its original jiggery pokeries. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. May have spoke too soon. The original Kawasaki fasteners, if you go to Kawasaki, these, which are bolts that go there, are only like 20 something pence each. But when I can get one. These little nylon washer things, they want about £2.50 each for, and you know where that's going. That's firmly into F off territory. £2.50 for a washer when the actual bolt is 20 something pence. It's just a bit ridiculous. Kawasaki, come on. And they can cite all sorts of reasons, I'm sure. Find the old son. You know, I said I always struggle with fairings. Oh, this is going to be a lie on the floor job. Bastard. Don't you love motorcycles? Nope, not a bit of it. There are some times I could quite happily never touch another motorcycle, and it's usually on jobs like this when you want it to go nice and easy, and the little bugger will fight you every single step of the way. Yeah, I'm not fucking convinced at all. I am not convinced this will be able to run a belly pan. Which is no deal breaker at the end of the day. It's designed to run with one. I'm happy with that panel though. I think I'm going to call it a day today because I'm starting to lose my rag, which is never a good thing. Not with me. It's just going to take a little bit of adjusting, and you know, some days you have the temperament for things and some days you don't. This is a don't day. It's a bit bad if I could actually see. No, it's lie down across the floor time again. But you're all saying, Jimmy, you've got a bench there, why don't you use it? Because if you ever try to get something as big as this that's not running onto a bike lift, you'll know why. Because it is almost impossible. Not without putting something out of joint or crapping yourself. And I'm at that age where either of those are entirely possible. Size. Of course, as much as you like to kid yourself, I am now you know, nearly 50, and I can't move like I could when I was 20. Which is just one of nature's ways of telling you you're an idiot, basically. Oh, this is going to need some tweaking. That does not sound right. Yeah, that one's got to be a longer one. That one just doesn't exist. That needs drilling. See, that's going in. What if I just had it on the cock? Yes, I had it on the cock. There it goes, that's going through nice. Do you know what? With a little bit of tweaking, might be on to a winner. And yes, I do fully realise I may have spoken far too soon, because that's the way it goes. Got that earworm again. Right, let's just have a quick. Oh dear. The only trouble is, it's because they put all these little tags and stuff on, which need to be lined up. That needs to be slackened up slightly, and then all this is supposed to we might need to alter the bottom of the belly pan, because it's obviously, I think, probably touching the exhaust actually, which is not a problem because there is room for it to be cut away. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, look, we've got to make that up, which won't be too hard. We can do that. We can work it out. But it's getting there. I think I've had enough for today there. Because it's just one of those not feeling it days, and if you ain't feeling it, there's no point doing it, because you will get frustrated and you'll start hitting at things with hammers or throwing things through windows if you're a man-child like me. Yeah, that does need a bit of, yeah, but we do know it's going to fit, so that's okay. That's absolutely fine. Well, it might have been an idea, should have been an idea to just probably paint mark the bottom of the exhaust and see if it's see if it's sitting anywhere. It is. It so definitely is. I'm probably going to have to cut that middle gusset out. Oh, gusset. One of my favourite words. mainly because it's associated with the lady sump. God, we really are waffling now. Right, I'm happy with that, and I know I've got to cut that other bit out. So it did say, I spoke to my friend who had one of these brand new, and he had a Vance and Hines already lined up for when the bike was delivered, and he said he had to modify the sump like what we've had to. We've had to cut a little bit of like a strengthening brace sort of thing. I don't know what it is actually under the sump. He had to cut that, and I've had to do that. And also there's, you have to cut the middle web out of the belly pan, which is not a problem at all. Bullet! No, I didn't think we'd be that lucky. Well, I thought I got two original, but one of them is a replica, and as you can see, it's a lot better than that other one. It's even got the proper guide holes in it. Good out, so that is usable. Good stuff. Lot of cardboard. Right, just put that to one side. And I've got a couple of parcels, and hopefully one of them is the new starter relay. Just put that there for now. Hopefully it's a new starter relay, because I found the starter relay and the fairing screws on Amazon for next day. Ooh, somebody's put me a little key ring in there as well. That could be an omen. Good fit. Righto. Right. That's it. That's the one. And that's got a 20 amp in it, which we'll swap out for a 30. Good out. That's that. Some silicone sealer, because you can never have too much of that. Right. Big envelope just for that up. And those are M5 fairing screws with clippages. Nice. This is even on. Oh, techno bollocks. Right, let's see if I can get you back in the old blowjob mount. Right, we have a starter solenoid, which is nice. This has got a 20 amp in it at the minute. The original is a 30, so we will change the fuse for a 30. But what I want to do before it goes on, this is the cable, the Posi battery cable, and as you can see, it is showing its age, but the connectors, they seem okay. A little bit of corrosion starting, but it's not too bad. I've seen far worse. So I might get a little Scotch-Brite pad. There is one knocking about somewhere in my super organised shed. Yeah, it's funny because I actually hate untidiness, but I am the world's most untidy git when it comes to doing jobs, because I never put anything away until I'm fed up of looking at it. I'm sure a lot of you are the same. Here we go, we've got a little Scotch-Brite pad there, and we'll just give these a bijou ticklet. Do, do, do. Spring is definitely in the air. It's not too warm today, but it was raining earlier and now it's not, and any day it ain't raining is alright for me. Look at that superb panel. Do you know what, that is going to annoy so many people, which makes me happy. Right, look at that, that's a lot better. A lot better. Little bit of Scotch-Brite. 2 minutes. Ideally, in an ideal world, if it was stripped down a bit more, this is the wire that goes to the starter, and ideally I'd take it off the starter as well and just make sure all that's good, but this will do for now. And then if we do decide to tart on it later, which we probably will, excuse me Vicar, more tea Vicar, you may as well, you've eaten all the fucking cake. We can do it then. The thing is with stuff like this, you know there's going to be big jobs, and you know there's going to be unexpected stuff, but the big jobs aren't a problem because you're sort of psyched up to do them. So when you're stripping all the back end down, or you've got to strip the engine down, whatever, you're sort of psyched up for that and you accept it. What does get you down a bit or annoys you is the 30 other little jobs you find in between, because I can guarantee you with something like this that's stood this long, loads of you'll know, you do tend to get shitloads of other jobs turn up, and it's the little jobs that take the time. It's not really the big jobs, it's the little jobs. So that is the Posi cable. I've got the bolts there and the cradle, and we've got the solenoid there. There we go. I mean, this looks, it is, I mean that, alright, that's got a bit of a wobble on it, but that is fine, because all this does, this top bit, ideally you want something like a spring washer on here, or a little grip nut, and by a grip nut I mean one like that. It's got a serrated bottom. All this does is basically, that's just the other half of the block lock. That's all it does, just transfers. But yeah, it should work. Sits in there quite nice. That will do. And by using the original mount, of course, it does help Jim if you get it the right way around. Donkey arse.
There you go. That obviously well, that's unusual. No, I did it the right way around, didn't I? Oh, I'll tell you something. Some days I really am hard of thinking. Right. So I'll put this little fella on first, and then we are going to give it a little splashing of dielectric grease, and we will have no arguments over dielectric grease because a lot of people totally misunderstand its purpose. And its purpose is to stop corrosion on electrical components. It is perfectly safe. It does not alter the current flow or anything like that. You can find thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube explaining dielectric grease, and at the same time you can find thousands and thousands of backwards cap wearing morons who say, oh, you shouldn't use it and it does this and it does that, because probably one time they've actually used it incorrectly. The die part comes into effect if there's an arc or a short or anything like that, or if it's just not good, the contact's not good, and then the die part comes into play. But if you watch people like watch Wes work, anybody like that, they lather the stuff on, and he is a jobbing mechanic on, you know, tractors, heavy plant machinery, stuff like that, and he in all his years has never ever had a single problem, and he uses it on everything, absolutely everything. So if it's good enough for a jobbing mechanic who lives in the Rust Belt of America, so he sees some of the worst corrosion Europeans aren't likely to see, really, then it's good enough. At the end of the day, if it was no good, people wouldn't sell it. Well, that's strictly not true, but people wouldn't put the name on it. Simple as that. So we'll get some grease. I think mine's Granville, something like that. I actually bought mine from an engineering supply firm on eBay. What's it called? C. Bennis Supplies and Services, and that's who I look for. And it's high dielectric, and that doesn't mean it's been on the joints. I just wonder where my negative battery cable had gone then. I'm going to give the end of those cables a little end of that cable a tickle as well. Tickle nurse, don't mind if I do. Right, I might brush this on. I'm not a big fan of brushing grease on because I like to keep the top on stuff. He says, look, I'm fucking liar. Anyway, I have got a little brush somewhere. That'll do. This'll do. These were good. I think these were off Amazon, and they're brilliant for you know, like glass fibring or spreading sort of this rust preventer, K-rust or anything like that, because they're really nice. They've got a nice stroke to them. God, I really do waffle. Anyway, let's get some grease. There you go. Ooh, lovely. Good job I've had breakfast. And just splash it on and get it all over the end of the cable. There we go. Lovely. And of course you can put it on the contacts as well. Get it in there, because there's no telling when you're going to get caught out in the rain or any bollocks like that, or where you're storing your bike. Because it will corrode, we will guarantee that. That's the other one, look.
Stick some in there on the pins. Oh, I bet people are shouting at me. Yeah, you don't put there. Piss off. That's a good thing about being in, you know, the testing development environment with prototypes and stuff like that. You get to see behind the scenes of stuff, and you get to ask some of the country's top engineers, really, why they do things. And the reason they don't put dielectric grease on like production cars and bikes and all this lot is cost and time. It's like head bearings. There was a time period, I don't know whether it's changed, but there was a time period for years and years and years with Japanese bikes where they really had the absolute minimal amount of head bearing grease. So head bearings were having to be done at like first to second services and be stripped out and greased, and of course the dealers weren't too keen on it because a first service is usually a pretty quick inspection and an oil change, filter change, and obviously they're having to take, you know, drop the yokes and grease the steering bearings and stuff. So it happens, cost cutting has long-term effects because the people that design these things really don't give a shit. Right, let's go on there. So yeah, he's been cleaned, and we'll just give the top of Bertie battery a quick going. There we go. And I always forget the correct way to connect the battery, whether it's positive first, negative first, oh, I don't know. Fucking whacking on there. It's very bad practice, but it's not as bad as child abuse, so we'll carry on. Right, and then we can put some whinge paste on here. Lovely, lovely. Because if you do have a bad connection or a slightly loose connection, not only does it promote arcing, it also promotes corrosion because stuff can get in. I think the end of this battery cap's seen better days. So again, we'll clean that up as well. And I did say I'd do this. This is when the metallic parts of your Scotch-Brite form the circuit. There we go. Of course there'll be no clicking or buzzing because it ain't plugged in. Oh, why is everything always out of range? Sexual lake. I'm sorry, but that's a catchphrase that me and a few friends use at work a lot. Or a sexual lake. And it was actually coined by a chap that don't work with us anymore. But you know, he lives on in memory. When we say, oh, sexual lake. And then I was talking to the wife, oh, sexual lake. Best part about it, he's not even from Tyneside or anything like that. I think some things just sound funny or better in some accents. Right, ignition off. Yes. Might just need to justificate the pins a little bit. No, we're on. So I've had the battery tested, and I'm going to backpedal on that, even though it was brand new. It's no good. It's no good at all. I took it down to my mate. He works in a local battery supplier, and I said, just test this for me, and he did, and he went, nope, holds 12 volts, but you put any load on it at all, it all goes. So I ended up getting a new Lucas, and the cheapest I could get the Lucas for online was about 47 quid, and my mate at Shield Batteries did it for 30. So now it might crack up. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. So thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it's a really long one, but even with editing, I've edited about half an hour out of that. Anyway, to catch you up, all that's done, and it starts and it runs fine. We've cured the leak, and yeah, I've got to alter the belly pan a little bit more. Just the rear of the belly pan on the right hand side, where the link pipe goes in, that's just rubbing against the fairing, so I've just got to shave a little bit off the inside, and then that'll fit, hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyway, I went to move it the other day because I was going to wash it. I know, nearly died of shock, but I had no clutch, and I did have a clutch before, but I had to get a second-hand master cylinder and put a rebuild kit in it, and the rebuild kit didn't fit that well, actually. I got it from a reputable third-party seller who usually sells good stuff. I don't really have any problem with their kit at all. Obviously they're not, you know, responsible, they didn't build the kit. Just had a drip. So I wasn't getting the full stroke on the lever. And I had a look, and the spring that was in it is 2-3 mil at least shorter than the Kawasaki original. So of course that means it's not pushing the piston back as far as it is, so you're not getting the full stroke, and which makes bleeding really difficult, and I could not get it to bleed. I put a vacuum on it, I reverse bled it with a syringe, still couldn't do it. It just wasn't doing it. You could crack the banjo nut at the master cylinder and it was pumping alright, there just wasn't enough to transfer down to the slave cylinder. So what I've done, it's all oofed now, is I've managed to bag an immaculate ZZR 1200 master cylinder, which is exactly the same part, and of course a lot newer. I mean, instead of being a part from 1988, this is a part from 2000 and something, so chances are it's still in a good serviceable condition. So when that arrives, hopefully in the next day or two, we'll put it on and we'll bleed it, and I'll film there's not really a procedure, it's just like bleeding at a caliper. You've got your master cylinder at the top and then you've got your bleed nipple down the bottom, and you can't really gravity bleed it because the dimensions of the pipes aren't very wide. It will do it, you know, if you crack the banjo at the top, it will just throw all the fluid out the bottom, but I prefer to keep the system sealed and just bleed it normally. So we'll do that. So thanks for watching, guys, I really do appreciate it. We've got a load of merch, ZX10 merch, Shoestring Shed merch on the Spring store and Redbubble. There's even clocks and stickers, and there's even like a backpack with the ZX10 on it, which is really cool. I'm going to order some samples so you can see them, but we've started a Patreon, and obviously it's up to you guys. There's no obligation at all, as usual, but it really would help a lot. But obviously anything we raise at all, even from the merch, it'll all go back into
probably restoring this, and we've got the Rover, we've got the SLK, we've got the Land Rover, we've got my partner's bike which sometimes appears in the videos. We're going to do some videos on that. That's a great little thing, a little Honda CB1, and it's an absolute rocket. It's brilliant because it makes all this noise, and it's, you know, it's not slow because bikes aren't slow. It's all relative, but you look down, you're doing like 50 miles an hour, but you're getting all the sensations of doing sort of 120 on a superbike. It's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to leave it there for now, guys. Sorry for waffling. No, I'm not really, because if anybody knows me, they know I can talk the rear off a donkey, and it's a lot of it's bollocks. But yeah, so we'll leave it there. The next video, I think, is going to be Carl doing the prop shaft on the Discovery. So we'll be crawling underneath that and doing that, and some of it I think he's recorded on his phone, and then some of it on a GoPro because time constraints. But thanks ever so much for watching, guys. We really do appreciate it. We're getting more subscribers every week, and I'm just amazed that anybody watches this at all. A fat bloke moaning in a shed with a shoddy old bike, but you know, a lot of you like it. So we'll carry on. So thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate everybody, and thanks very much. See you next time. Bye bye.